Welcome to another deep dive with us. Today we're exploring something kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's this idea that just being a good person doesn't automatically mean you've got control over your own life. Kind of a thought-provoking concept, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We've got some material here that really digs into it.
Definitely a different way of looking at things.
So are you ready to find out if maybe being too nice is actually like holding you back from reaching your goals?
I think so. Yeah, the material really challenges us to look at how, always seeking approval or trying to please others could actually be preventing us from what it calls true success.
True success, huh? So it's not just about like money or achievements then?
Right. That's a great question. And the source does do a good job of outlining this. It's saying that true success in this context, it goes beyond just the material stuff. It's like a sense of personal fulfillment, having a strong purpose, and being able to live a life that actually matches up with your values.
Okay, so how does being too nice fit into all of this? I can kind of see how like always trying to please everyone could mean you end up ignoring your own needs.
Yeah.
But it feels like the material's getting at something deeper.
Oh, absolutely. It's a lot deeper than that. Think of it this way. If you're always worried about what other people think of you, or if you're making them happy, you're basically giving them the power to decide what you do. You're letting them control your life instead of you actually taking charge of your own path.
Makes sense. Yeah. Like you become a puppet, just dancing everyone else's expectations, right?
Yeah.
So how do you break free from that? I remember the material mentioning setting boundaries.
Exactly. It's a big thing. Setting firm boundaries and learning to say no. That's really crucial. It's about understanding that you have a right to put your own well-being first.
Yeah.
And that sometimes it's okay to disappoint others, especially if it means staying true to yourself and your goals.
Yeah, there was that analogy about the chocolate. Remember that? Oh, yeah.
Even though it's not good for you. It's just a simple example, but it really gets at that struggle we all face.
It's a brilliant analogy. I mean, it's that universal thing of wanting to please others, even when it goes against what's best for us, right?
Right.
And the chocolate, it's like it represents all those temptations, those easy choices that give you that instant gratification. But in the end, they actually pull you away from your long-term goals.
So what's the solution then? Do we just become jerks and say no to everything and everyone?
No, not exactly. It's not about being mean or insensitive, right?
Okay.
It's more about finding that balance, being kind and considerate, but also staying true to your own values and priorities, understanding you can't make everyone happy all the time.
Yeah.
And that sometimes you got to make choices that benefit, even if some people might be disappointed.
So it's about being assertive, I guess, being careful about where you put your energy. And then there's that funnel analogy. Can you explain that one?
Yeah.
Sure. So imagine this funnel, right? It represents how a lot of us approach our desires. We try to jam all our big goals and dreams dream home, a perfect career, money into the narrow part of the funnel. But that just creates a ton of pressure and frustration and often leads to burnout.
Oh, I can definitely relate to that. It's like trying to force a square peg into a round hole.
Exactly. You spend so much energy trying to make things fit, you end up exhausted and discouraged.
Right. But I remember the source doesn't just leave us with that image of a clogged up funnel, right? There's a solution they offer.
Yeah, a really powerful one. Instead of starting with those huge goals at the narrow end, we flip it. Focus on personal growth first. Expand your skills, your knowledge. You essentially widen the top of the funnel.
So by investing in yourself and becoming more capable, you're naturally creating more space for those bigger desires to come through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like building a bigger container for success instead of trying to cram it all into a tiny box.
That's a great visual. And the source actually used their own life as an example of this. Instead of slowly working their way up to a bigger house, they went for one that seemed out of reach.
Right.
They focused on growing first, and because of that, those big goals became possible.
Yeah, pretty inspiring.
It really is. Shows that if you shift your focus from what you can't do to what you can do, you open yourself up to so many more opportunities. What I'm getting so far is that this is all about being proactive, taking control of your own story. But then there's that weird idea about disagreeing with everyone, even yourself.
Yeah, that one.
Seems kind of counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It does at first, yeah. But it's not about being argumentative or picking fights.
Okay.
It's about developing that healthy detachment from what other people think and expect from you. And even from those limiting beliefs that we often hold about ourselves.
So you're saying it's about recognizing that not everything you think has to be true. And that sometimes the biggest growth comes from challenging your own assumptions.
Exactly. The source is urging us to break free from those mental and emotional patterns that hold us back. Think about those areas in your life where you might be too nice to yourself, like letting procrastination take over, or avoiding those tough conversations, or holding on to beliefs that just don't serve you anymore.
Right. It's like we need to be more discerning about our own internal dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, are these thoughts really helping me? Or are they just leftovers from past experiences that are holding me back?
It's a really powerful question to ask yourself, and it ties into that whole idea of taking ownership of your life.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose what you believe, how you respond to challenges, and ultimately what direction you want your life to go in.
Okay, so now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And that leads us to the source's big framework for achieving goals. Remember, method, energy, and experience.
Oh, yeah.
Can you break that down for our listener?
Let's picture it. Imagine a graph, right? With 3 lines: method, energy, and experience. Now, success happens where those 3 lines all intersect.
So you need a plan, the method, the drive to keep going, the energy, and the ability to learn and adapt from your experiences.
Exactly. It sounds simple, but when you get all 3 working together, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah, it creates that synergy that pushes you forward.
Right. The source was saying that just having 1 or 2 of these isn't enough. You might have a great plan and loads of energy, but not the experience to handle challenges.
Right.
Or you might have the experience and the method, but just lack the energy to follow through.
Yeah, makes sense. It reminds me of that time the source talked about being obsessed with finding the perfect way to grill a steak.
That's right.
It sounds funny, but it just shows how this idea applies to everything, big or small.
Exactly. Whether you're starting a business, learning something new, even improving your relationships, you need that method, the energy, and the experience. They're the essential ingredients for success.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about how being too nice can stop you from being in control of your life, the importance of setting boundaries and saying no, prioritizing personal growth, and of course, that key framework of method, energy, and experience for reaching your goals.
Yeah.
I think our listeners are ready to go a little deeper now into this idea of disagreeing.
For sure.
And how it plays a role in personal transformation.
Absolutely. That's where things get really interesting. The source offers some amazing insights into how challenging conventional wisdom and even confronting your own limiting beliefs can lead to huge personal growth.
Yeah, it can unlock your true potential.
Exactly. Welcome back to the deep dive. Let's get deeper into this whole disagreeing thing, how it all ties into taking control of your own life, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by it. Seems kind of backwards at first, but the more we talk about it, the more it makes sense.
Right. So how does disagreeing fit into this bigger picture of personal growth and achieving that, true success we were talking about?
Exactly. That's what I'm curious about.
Well, the source really emphasizes that real self-governance, it starts with being willing to challenge things, both inside yourself and out in the world. We talked about boundaries, saying no to others.
Right.
But they take it a step further, saying we need to apply that same principle to our own thoughts, even our beliefs.
So not just disagreeing with other people, but disagreeing with those negative voices in our heads, those limiting beliefs we might be holding on to.
Exactly. Recognizing that not everything we think or feel is actually true or helpful for us. The source even uses some strong language, talking about demons and past traumas,
Yeah, I remember that.
Like they're forces trying to keep us stuck in those old patterns.
Almost like those bad experiences and limiting beliefs become these invisible weights we carry around, holding us back from reaching our full potential.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is, how do we actually confront those demons?
Right. It's easy to say, okay, I disagree with this negative thought, but how do you actually change those deep down beliefs and patterns?
That's the work, right? But the source does offer some real guidance. It's about becoming more aware of that inner voice. What are you saying to yourself? Identify those thoughts and beliefs that are sabotaging you, then consciously choose to challenge them. They even suggest that sometimes being truly obedient to, a higher purpose might mean making choices that disappoint others.
Wow, that's interesting.
Or even go against those deeply ingrained patterns we have.
So it's about aligning your actions with your values, even if it means going against the grain or disrupting those comfortable but ultimately limiting patterns. It's like recognizing that real growth often requires you to break free from expectations.
Yeah. Not just from others, but also from those self-imposed limitations we put on ourselves.
Right, right.
It's a powerful shift in how we see things. The source is challenging that whole idea of goodness always meaning you're agreeable. Sometimes, to really grow personally, maybe even spiritually, like the source mentions, you have to stand up for what you believe in.
Even if it means ruffling some feathers along the way.
Yeah, even if others don't understand your choices. And this disagreeing thing, it extends to how we go after our goals, too. Remember that example about buying a house?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
The person gets so fixated on that one goal, they forget all the steps they need to take to get there.
It's like trying to build a house without a foundation. It's just going to collapse, right?
Exactly.
Nice.
The source emphasizes that we need to pay attention to the process, build our capacity first, and then those bigger goals become more attainable. It's recognizing that real success is a journey, not just the destination. Every step is a chance to learn and grow.
I like that. It's about shifting your focus from that end goal to the process of getting there. Embrace the journey and trust that if you invest in yourself, those bigger desires will naturally happen when the time's right. The source even talked about their own experience, skipping that typical house buying progression.
Right.
They focused on developing their skills, expanding their capacity first. And as a result, they were able to achieve a goal that initially seemed out of reach.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff.
It really highlights that success isn't just what you achieve, it's who you become along the way. The source also talked about being careful about who you listen to, whose opinions you let influence your choices. They even said something like, being too swayed by people around you can turn you into a doormat.
Strong words, right? But I get what they mean. It's about understanding that not everyone has your best interests in mind. Some people might, intentionally or not, try to hold you back or project their own limitations onto you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's about developing that healthy self-reliance, trusting your gut. Be more critical of the voices you let into your life. Prioritize those relationships that truly support you, the ones that inspire you to become your best self.
And they have this unique perspective on success, don't they? It's not about money or status. It's about how much control you have over your own life. Your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions. It's about creating a life that feels authentic and fulfilling, regardless of what society expects or what other people say.
Yeah, that's where this whole idea of self-governance really comes alive. True success is an internal thing, not some external achievement.
Right. It's about aligning your actions with your values, setting those boundaries, making choices that are good for you, even if they're not popular or what everyone else is doing.
Exactly. They even go on to say that sometimes the hardest decisions, the ones that might make you uncomfortable or even cause temporary setbacks, those are the ones that show true leadership and commitment to growth.
It's about having the guts to step outside your comfort zone, challenge your own assumptions, and make choices that line up with your long-term vision, even if it means sacrificing something in the short term.
Yeah, and they use this great analogy to illustrate that point, a car race. The winner, they argue, is often the one who makes the fewest mistakes, not necessarily the fastest or the most talented driver.
That's a good one.
It's about having the discipline and focus to stay on track, to avoid those self-sabotaging behaviors. Keep moving forward even when you hit roadblocks. It's a reminder that true success isn't about being perfect, it's about persistence, resilience, and being willing to learn and adapt as you go.
Love that analogy. It really emphasizes the importance of developing that inner strength. The ability to handle challenges and setbacks without losing sight of what you want to achieve.
Right. And they talk about the importance of investing in yourself too, not just financially, but in terms of time and energy. Be a lifelong learner, seek out new experiences, expand your knowledge, constantly challenge yourself to grow and evolve.
It's about realizing that personal growth is a constant process, not a one-time event. Cultivating a mindset of curiosity, being open to new things, and stepping outside our comfort zones to learn and develop those new skills. And they make a really important distinction between being useful to others and just trying to please everyone.
Right.
They say we can have a much bigger impact by focusing on serving a larger purpose rather than trying to get everyone's approval.
Yeah, like understanding that you can't be everything to everyone. Trying to do that just spreads you too thin and weakens your impact.
Right. It's about aligning our actions with what we believe in and putting our energy into those things that really matter to us, the things that contribute to a greater good. They even use pretty blunt language to emphasize this, saying that those who are too focused on pleasing others are basically idiots.
Haha. Yeah, a little harsh maybe.
Yeah, strong words.
Yeah.
But I see the point. It's about being careful with our time and energy. We can't please everyone, so focus on serving a purpose that aligns with your values and your true self.
Right. They also touch on patience, understanding that success is a journey, not a sprint. Don't rush the process. Celebrate the small wins along the way.
Especially important in today's world, right? We're constantly bombarded with messages about instant gratification and overnight success. It's a good reminder that real, lasting success takes time, effort, and a willingness to embrace the ups and downs that come with it.
It's about resilience. Learning from those setbacks and trusting that consistent effort, combined with a clear vision and adaptability, will ultimately get you where you want to be.
And they give us some practical advice for getting there, too. Setting clear goals, having a plan, surrounding yourself with people who support you and challenge you to be your best.
All essential ingredients, right? And they talk about their own experience, setting ambitious goals early on and achieving them through focus, discipline, and surrounding themselves with supportive people who believed in them.
It's a good reminder that we're not meant to do this alone. Having that support system makes a huge difference in overcoming obstacles, staying motivated, and reaching those goals. They also give some great advice for those who are struggling to let go of the past. We need to reframe those experiences and stop giving them so much power over our present.
That's where forgiveness comes in. Letting go of those past hurts. The source encourages us to see our past as a learning opportunity, not a burden to carry around.
It's about recognizing that we all screw up, we all have regrets, but we don't have to let those define us. We can learn from them, forgive ourselves, and move on with a sense of peace and empowerment. And they offer some practical ways to do this too, right?
Yeah, journaling, meditation, talking to a therapist, ways to process those tough emotions, gain clarity, and let go of that weight from the past.
It's about finding healthy ways to cope that allow us to heal those old wounds, shift our perspective, and reclaim our power to create a better future. The source also talked about connecting with something bigger than ourselves, spirituality, a higher purpose. They share their own journey of faith and how it's helped them to find meaning and overcome challenges.
Yeah. They acknowledge that not everyone shares their religious beliefs, but they emphasize the power of having that spiritual foundation, whatever that looks like for each person.
It's about connecting with that sense of something greater than ourselves, whether it's through nature, art, music, helping others, or a traditional religious practice. Finding that source of inspiration and guidance that helps us navigate life's challenges with meaning and purpose. And in the end, they encourage us to step out of our comfort zones and go after our dreams with courage.
Yeah, they do. Life is short, right? Make the most of it. Embrace new experiences, challenge those limitations, and strive to make a positive impact on the world.
It's a powerful message of empowerment, a reminder that we have the power to create the life we want. We're not defined by our past, our circumstances, or what others expect from us. We can choose our thoughts, beliefs, actions, and ultimately shape our own destiny. But okay, how do we take all this amazing information and actually apply it to our lives? Remember that capacity-generating wealth concept. Can you explain that a bit more?
Yeah, sure. Capacity-generating wealth, it goes beyond just money. It's a measure of our overall potential. Our skills, knowledge, experiences, relationships, health, emotional well-being, all those things that contribute to creating a fulfilling and abundant life. True wealth is holistic, you know? Our ability to create abundance in every area of our lives is tied to our personal growth and development.
So we talked about capacity-generating wealth, right? This idea that it's not just about money. It's a way of measuring our potential, our skills, what we know, our experiences, relationships, health, emotional well-being, all those things that help us create a good life, a fulfilling life, an abundant life.
Exactly.
And there was that assessment tool. I'm really curious about that.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through it? What is it?
Sure. So it's called the source calls it the Capacity Generating Wealth Assessment. It's basically designed to help you evaluate different parts of your life and see where you might need to focus more.
Okay.
Covers stuff like your finances, how you are with money, your health and well-being, relationships, even your emotional intelligence.
Wow. So it really takes a look at everything.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive.
It's not just about, making more money or reaching some status level.
Right.
It's about creating that sense of wholeness, balance in all parts of your life.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
And this tool, it helps show those areas where we might be neglecting ourselves or where there's potential we haven't tapped into yet.
Yeah, it does. It's about recognizing that all these areas of our lives, they kind of feed into each other, right? And that true success, like how the source defines it, comes from building harmony and balance across all those different dimensions.
So it's like taking stock of your life, seeing what you're good at and what needs work, then creating a plan for personal growth that takes all that into account.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
Did the source say what they scored on this assessment?
Oh, yeah, they did. They actually scored pretty high, 426 out of 500.
Yeah.
But they weren't bragging or anything.
Right, yeah.
They were using it more to show that success isn't about being perfect in one specific area.
Yeah.
It's about striving for that well-rounded life, understanding that our ability to create wealth internally and externally is connected to our well-being. You know, how strong our relationships are, our health, finances, even our emotional intelligence.
That makes so much sense. It's not about being perfect in every single thing,
right?
But about creating a life where all those pieces are working together, like having that inner sense of abundance that then flows out into everything else.
Yeah, exactly. And they emphasize that this isn't something you do just once, you know. It's a tool to come back to, track your progress, see how you've grown, and then pinpoint new areas where you can keep evolving and expanding your capacity.
So it's about always learning. Embracing that personal growth is a journey, not a finish line.
Right. It's ongoing. And the source gives us this really clear framework for navigating that journey. We've talked about method, energy, and experience.
Right.
But they link it all back to this core idea of self-governance, being willing to disagree with those things that try to hold us back.
Absolutely. They remind us that true success, it takes self-awareness and the willingness to challenge things, both inside ourselves and out there in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
It's about making our own choices, setting boundaries, and doing what's right for us, even if it's not the popular thing to do.
Or the easy thing.
Right. Like stepping into that role of leading our own lives, knowing we have the power to shape our destiny, to create a life that's true to ourselves. And they gave us that really powerful question to think about, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. What were you willing to disagree with?
Yeah. What am I willing to disagree with in order to reach my goals?
Yeah.
That really makes you think.
It does. It makes you confront those comfortable habits, those beliefs that are holding you back, all those fears and doubts.
It's a call to action, isn't it? Like an invitation to get out of our comfort zone and embrace the challenges that come with growth and change.
Exactly. It reminds us that real success takes courage, resilience, and a willingness to be uncomfortable as we break free from those limitations.
The source has given us so much to think about today.
They really are.
So many great insights and practical tools.
It's been an amazing deep dive into personal growth and the power of self-governance.
Yeah. I hope our listener feels ready to take charge of their life, to build that capacity for creating wealth in all areas, and to really embrace the journey of becoming their best selves.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep diving deep, everyone.